Welcome back, everybody, to episode 38 of Couples Coverage. I'm your host, Nicholas Moriano, and joined, as always, by my beautiful and amazing fiance, Stephanie Abonce. What's going on, baby?
Hello. What's going on? It's Saturday. We're recording Saturday midday, so we have lots of light.
Mm-hmm.
It's the weekend. It's your bye week. I guess it's not your bye week. It's just the bye week.
It's kind of the bye week for the Bears and everyone who covers them, so a little bit. But we didn't get a chance to record last week because we were doing some we weren't even in the same country. That's why.
Yeah. We were in Europe, and your first time in Europe.
First time in Europe, first time in London, and you got to tag along for what was a really cool trip, and that's what this whole entire episode of 38 of Couples Coverage is going to be about. And for everybody who is listening maybe for the first time, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel at Couples Coverage, and of course we're on YouTube, but also Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you're just someone who listens to podcasts, you can also find us at Couples Coverage, Instagram, TikTok as well, same exact handles at Couples Coverage. So make sure you subscribe and help us grow the channel. But that's what episode 38 is going to be all about, our trip to London, getting to explore. There was a Bears game at the end, but so much that happened way before that Sunday. So that's what this episode is going to be about.
Yeah, and actually now that I said that it was Saturday, like literally a week ago is when you had your one day to explore, which we're going to get into, but it's kind of, it feels like it's been longer than that. Like it's weird to think that just last Saturday we were still there.
It does.
Walking around, exploring.
I honestly lost track of days there.
Oh, I did too.
There were days where I remember like midday, like today is ... Oh, Wednesday. Like it just, for whatever, 6-hour time difference and all the traveling and everything that was going on, you just lose track of days. And there were some really long nights, early mornings even as well. So you easily lose track.
It's so funny though too, because whenever you're somewhere else that has a really big time difference, it's like you automatically want to know. It's like the time there doesn't really matter. You always want to like check, okay, so that means it's this time at home. And it almost helps you justify how late you're staying out, how early you're getting up.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like, oh, well, it's only because London is 6 hours ahead. So at night, we're like, oh, well, it's technically only like 5 p.m. at home.
That's true. And I would actually check my phone because it would show me the times for London and also Chicago, and just like seeing the difference. It's like, oh, well, like that, like it's only this time back home, but also by the time I think it was Wednesday, I felt like I had adjusted to London's time as opposed to being in Chicago. So when it was getting late there, it did feel, I was feeling tired. Yeah, probably even more tired because of, I don't know. Actually, we did get some sleep on the plane a little bit, but.
That's where it starts off.
Yeah, let's start there.
Actually, before that. Did you see my rundown? Is that what you're saying?
I did see that, but I also remembered what happened right before we got on this plane.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's kind of, thinking back to it, it was super exciting because, again, it was your first time going to Europe, but also this was a work trip for you. So it was just cool being like, oh, who's going to be on our flight? Like all your different coworkers and just people who were tagging along. So it was just kind of funny to like run into people at the airport and be like, what flight do you have? And and I think this is why this is what happened, because we got caught up like talking to people and saying hi to people, and somebody lost their passport.
I wouldn't say lost. I would say misplaced.
I knew you were going to say that.
My passport. And I'm usually the one, like, as we're approaching the security at the airport, like, oh, hey, make sure you have your ID. Make sure you have your passport. I'm the one telling you that. So I feel like I'm always prepared with, like, doing those things. But as we got to our gate, got through security, and we're getting closer, and it's getting about time to board, like, oh, everyone needs to have their passports. And I swear, I thought I lost this thing. But, I was like going through my backpack, and it has a bunch of different zippers. I just happened, for whatever reason, put it in a zipper that I normally would never put anything in. So I'm like zipping and sweating. And,
I saw you.
Some of my coworkers are there. They're like, "Oh, Nick," and I'm just like zip, zip, zip. I'm like, no freaking way. There's no way I lost this thing. Because then I wouldn't be able to get on.
I wasn't panicking yet because I remember. Actually, you know what? For a second, I was because you, I think handed it to me and I handed it back. But in that like transaction, I was like, oh my gosh, did I give it back? But I knew I did. I remember seeing you put it in your backpack, which is why I wasn't panicking. But also I was like, okay, so I saw you take it, put it in your bag. Where is it now? Like, why can't you find it?
As the sweat is dripping from my head, I'm wearing a hat. I'm like, come on, man, please. Like, this can't be how this trip starts. Like, me not being able to get on this plane, but I eventually, unzipped one of the pockets, found it, already sweating. I'm like, I'm not in a bad mood or anything. I'm like, This is the beginning of the trip, but that's how it started with me, almost again misplacing.
You're right. It was more misplacing it, and I think because you were in a panic to look for it, you just like overlooked that one.
Yeah, the main zipper, it's in there, but I literally went through every other pocket, except for that one. But didn't we end up? We got that whole entire row to ourselves because we ran into some people at... Oh, no,
your dad. Because your dad walked us.
Yes, yeah, so we ran... so we walked... Wait, am I confusing Charlotte's trip?
So this is what happened.
Yeah, I'm like...
As we've mentioned, his parents work for the airline, which is great. There's like lots of perks that come with that.
Oh, that's right. We got the big water bottle, too.
Yeah. And his dad was just super sweet and just wanted to walk us to our gate. Mm-hmm. Which normally people can't do that, right?
What?
You can't walk people to their gate. If you don't, because you have to get through with a ticket before you even get up to gates. You have to walk through with like a passport. I know, which I'm saying like normally people can't really do that, right? Unless you're like taking like a child that needs to get on a flight or like elderly, then there's a way to like get people and stay with them until they're like getting on their plane. But aside from that, you can't really go up there if you don't have a boarding pass.
I think my dad was working, was he not?
No, baby drove us there.
Oh shoot, you're right. If it's his badge, I mean
that's
what it was. Yeah, that's right.
So, anyways, he was just really sweet and wanted to walk us and stay with us at the gate until we got there. And everyone literally knows his dad at the airport. So
I know, yeah.
They like asked us like, okay, like what seats are you guys in? Let me get you guys some better seats. They hooked us up with better seats. We got a row to ourselves, which is amazing. A giant water bottle,
which is great. And I mean, look, with that, it's an 8-hour flight, give or take, and it's nice that we didn't have to share that with anybody because you would have had the window, I would have had the middle seat, and then in our original scheduled seats, there was somebody at the aisle. And this one, which there was like a bunch of seats open, so they were able to move us. We had our entire aisle to ourselves, so super clutch.
It never like stops amazing me how big these planes are, and then they just go up in the sky. Because like when you're going international, like an international flight, these planes are huge. Like they're 3 rows. Yeah, they have the 3 rows. And you can just tell how big it is. Like it's super long too. But anyways. Just one of the things that like always shocks me getting on those huge planes. And also just funny to see you because I think you've been on flights where they give you like meals, right? Like you get the snacks and the food and then another meal.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just thought it was so funny that you were like enjoying yourself with all these meals.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I was hungry. So by the time they came around with like the food and the first one, pretty sure it was like chicken and potatoes and like a salad.
Yeah.
I still have one of the little brownie treats, your brownie treat that they gave you on the way there. That's in our cabinet right now. And I've like been looking at it like for the past 3 days and I really want to eat it because it's pretty good. So getting that,
I screwed up and forgot to edit my meal, which sucks.
You have to do, I guess, 24 hours in advance to get like a vegetarian type.
I think they have vegetarian, but to do like specific meals like gluten-free or like peanut-free or vegan. So I just screwed up and forgot to edit mine and I just got stuck With, you know what? Actually, on the way there, it worked out because it was just pasta.
Oh,
with
yeah.
no
That was
cheese.
good pasta.
And so it was literally fine.
Yeah,
but on the way back, oh my gosh, I was so hungry. I couldn't have like almost anything. They passed out.
They had some pretty good stuff too. But we'll get there because this is, and we don't want to take too much time on the trip there. I think the last thing on the actual like plane trip, the last thing I'll say is that there was a baby. I believe it was a baby. Whose lungs gonna be a singer one day, because that baby screaming, not even crying. It wasn't crying.
No, it wasn't crying.
It was screaming. The baby just, I don't know, man. That was something different, because we were on the left side of the plane, and it, the right side's not that far away, but it felt like that baby was right there.
Yeah.
And I felt bad because some of my coworkers were. Actually, one of my coworkers, literally right behind him, was a screaming baby.
Who not only was screaming, but also kicking, apparently.
Yeah, so. Kicking and screaming. That's a good movie.
Kicking his seat the entire time.
But, yeah, that was incredible. But, yeah, so, I mean, that's how it kind of all starts. We get to, and we land in London. I believe it's around, like, 9 a.m.
Their time?
Their time.
Mm-hmm.
And so our plan, too, when we got there, it's like you can't go to sleep. Really, when you get there, because you got to get adjusted.
Yeah.
So our plan for that Tuesday, stay up as long as we would normally, so that we could kind of readjust ourselves.
Which honestly, like I know people always talk about jet lag. It wasn't really a thing, because like we had that night to kind of sleep.
Yeah, we left at around 8 o'clock at night. So
yeah, so you land at 9 a.m. their time, and you basically had like a whole night. I mean, you technically could. I'm not the best at sleeping in planes.
And you took your little Salud
sleeping pattern?
Sleeping ones, and just didn't work.
No.
Yeah.
Not that time. I think also like you said, the baby, and just like kind of being
I think too, right when you had it,
know.
like food came by too, if I'm not mistaken. So it's just a bad timing, but
to take it, yeah.
I think I knocked out though.
I know. I like always am jealous of the people who can just sleep sitting up, but I can't. Like I get so uncomfortable. I think I've talked about it on this podcast, where like I get this thing where I can't stop focusing on my legs.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know if that's a thing. I don't know anyone else that's ever talked about this, but I was kind of going through that a little bit. Like we had the whole row to ourselves, so I was actually able to like lay down on you, and even then, all I could think about was my feet, my legs. I couldn't stop like focusing on my feet. It was so weird. Anyways, we get to London. It's not the tube, right? We didn't take the tube to get there, because we did end up taking a train. But is that technically the tube? I think so. It was like their express, like something.
Metro kind of, or
not a metro. I think we were like underground.
Oh yeah, that's right. So maybe that's the tube. I don't even know. All I know is that you have to mind the gap.
Mind the gap. That's where we first heard it, and I honestly didn't think much of it there.
And okay, for obviously people who've never been, or don't, like, what the heck is mind the gap? Literally, watch your step is the equivalent to that in America. Like, watch your step getting onto the train or whatever. And that one, they just say mind the gap. And literally every single train that comes by opens the doors, you'll hear this on the intercom, mind the gap. And we noticed that it was on t-shirts. Like they really lean into it, but mind the gap is something that from day one to the very final day, you heard it in London, or honestly anywhere you went. But took the train to get down to our hotel, get situated there.
Wait, you're missing a big part of this.
What am I missing?
You're missing us getting off.
Yeah.
Okay. You're missing getting off the plane. And you get points because you were carrying my bag. And then they get taken away because you left my bag.
Right before customs, too. I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Yeah, it was right before customs. I think we stopped. And
stopped because there was a bathroom break.
Yeah.
Everyone's taking, going to the bathroom real quick. And then
you must have set my bag down and just didn't pick it up.
And the thing is, like, when I have it, obviously I know I have it, but because it's not my bag, I guess I'm just not aware of it as much. So when we put it down, go through customs, okay, we're getting all the rest of our luggage and everything, and then I think
and then we're at baggage claim at this point. And I realize, I'm like, oh my gosh, where's my bag?
And then
where's my bag?
I'm like, oh crap, I know exactly where it's at. so then I run back. I have to ask somebody who works there, how do I get back up to like customs? They're like, oh, just take this step. I can guide you.
At this point, okay, I was like, okay, I know exactly where it is. But when you're at an airport, I know they're so like attentive when it comes to those things. And they're not going to leave a bag that's been sitting there at this point, maybe like over 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe by itself. Like at this point, it's gone. So I was like, how is he going to get to a point to like, who's like, how are you going to ask somebody? Like, how do you know who to ask? I'm like, my makeup's in there. Usually the stuff that is most like expensive, because like, okay, a makeup bag has things that you get over time, you know? It's hard to replace an entire makeup bag. And I was like, my makeup is gone for the trip. I'm like, great.
No, so I didn't think it was going to be gone, but I do run up there frantically a little bit. And then I see people, workers, like going through it. And then I'm like, oh man, so how do I get over to that side? I already crossed over here. And then actually the guy who led us through customs, I asked him like, hey, that's my bag over there. How can I get over there? How can I get in? Then he calls over those people. They come over to my side, and then we have to walk. And I tried calling you, but I don't think we had like.
No, I think I just missed it. I didn't
maybe
see
just
your
missed
call.
it, but also like I know the service like coming over, like it's weird, but I had to basically escort these two guys as they're carrying your bag to you so you can identify it. And they were asking,
so they didn't even hand it over to you?
No, they couldn't. Like they needed to make sure that it was, because I said, hey, that's my fiance's bag. I'm just the idiot who left it over there. I was supposed to carry it. And then they had to bring it all the way down the escalator, all the way to the like where our baggage claim was at, which was the furthest one from that escalator, and ask you questions like what's in your bag, so that they can be like, oh, okay, this person does know.
I'm gonna insert a picture. You're gonna insert a picture right here, because I saw I saw him walking over without it, and I was like, shit, like he doesn't have it. But then you gave me a thumbs up, and I was like, okay, weird. And then I see the two guys following behind with the bag, and I come over and I start to get nervous because the way they were questioning me, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Were you
confused like what they were asking you, or like
no, I wasn't confused what they were asking me, but I felt like I was taking a quiz that I didn't study for. They were like, what's in it? And I was like, what's in it? I don't know.
What's in the bag?
It's like, let me see if I can remember. And then it all started coming back to me. I think it was just like being put on the spot. I was like, oh my gosh, what's in it? I was like, oh, it's like a mirror, my bat, like my wallet. They're like, what brand is the wallet? I was like,
they asked that?
Yeah, they did. He's like, what brand is it? What else is in there? And I was like, I don't know what. I'm like, I don't know, just little things in like my pockets. I was like, some tampons. I don't know.
Oh, well,
anyways, just like little things.
We got that situation, and it was funny too. On the carousel where all the bags are going, I don't think you didn't, because you were obviously there. You didn't notice that the big piece of luggage that we took went around like at least 2 or 3 times. So
that was another thing. So we were all standing there waiting for everyone had their bags except me, this big giant luggage, and I didn't recognize it because I borrowed it from my brother. Mm-hmm. So it kept going around and around, and I'm like, where is our bag? And it was just because it was flipped the other way that I didn't recognize
and I'm like,
it.
oh wait, there's a little Charizard sticker on there. That's ours. So I grab it and take it. I'm like, this is, this thing's been going around. So okay, we get everything. I go get your bag that I left. We finally, like I said, we get out, we get on the train, get to our hotel, situated. We do get some nice warm cookies. Maybe, is that a London thing?
No,
like
I think
when
it
you
was
check into hotels, you get like cookies?
I think it's just that specific hotel.
Well, I've been to DoubleTrees before where I haven't gotten cookies when I've checked in.
You're going to go to the next DoubleTree. Where's my cookie?
Yeah, seriously. Those are, they were good. But that first day was, again, we get there pretty early, at 9 o'clock in the morning, situated. Oh, we do end up, like, I think one of our first things we wanted to do was find food.
Yeah, find food. I think we, like, met up with everyone first and had a drink at, like, a pub. A pub?
Right across, literally right around the corner from our hotel, which is really convenient.
Like, your CEO was there, his wife. Everyone was just kind of, like, catching up because some of us had different flights. So, like, that's kind of, like, where we all well, everyone who was there at that point met up.
Got together.
And then we wanted to go get some food. So we went to Borough Market because Borough Market was like walking distance from our hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, we made that little trip. It's about a 15, 20-minute walk from the hotel.
15.
And that wasn't the London Bridge. We did not, that one that we crossed.
I don't think so. No, it wasn't.
I don't think it was.
No.
We crossed a bridge on the way there. We see one of the Bears players, Cole Kmet. And we're like, we're going to the Borough Market. And he had just come from the Borough Market. So we're like, okay, cool. So let's go see what we can find. And the first thing we got, fish and chips, right?
Oh, yes. The first thing we got was fish and chips.
I think fish is massive. Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm not used to seeing, when I see like fish fillets here, they're like tiny little guys. We only got one. We got the one fish and chips for both of us, and we were like, we're feeling good about this.
Oh, yeah, I was full after that. But yeah, no, it was really good. It was like interesting because it was so good, and I can tell the food there off the bat is not as salty, but things taste more like fresh and like more natural.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really, really good. And I don't think we were planning on having like our first thing there as fish and chips, but we saw it.
I think it's fitting. I mean, everyone says to get fish and chips. We also got like one of those juices, right? Right. Again, there's this big market, and they have
literally everything.
They have juices. They have chocolate covered strawberries. They have. Remember that big plate that you kept talking about? What was that?
I forget what it's called. My mom told me, but
I
forget.
It's not paella?
Yes.
Oh, paella?
Yeah.
It had rice. I remember seeing scallops in there, and it's a gigantic dish that they're cooking it on. So that's over there, and they have all these different stations with cheeses, and
that's this market though.
I know, like yeah. There's a bunch of them, apparently, but we only got a chance to see one of them. But
I didn't. I got to see another one.
You did. Oh.
Yeah.
Which one?
Greenwich. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Grenwick. But that one was more of like an art market. So it was more like necklaces and bracelets and art and like that type of stuff.
Gotcha.
But for food, yeah, I know that there's like some of them have different types of like, I don't know, like this one was like a lot of cheeses and.
I mean, it had a variety of stuff.
It did though. Yeah, you're right. It did have a variety.
I mean, it did have a lot of cheese though. And I don't think I had.
No, I don't know if I'm a fan of like.
Some of them smell a little weird. I'm not gonna lie. They just have they're like, whoa, that's cheese.
Yeah.
I know one of my coworkers got a nice thing of cheese.
Is it Mark?
It was Mark. Of course, it was Mark. But yeah, no, it was really cool. Like that was one of the first things we got to see over there. Also, as I remember walking to the Borough Market, like we're like, oh, we're supposed to be on this side of the, how they, people here we walk on the right. We're supposed to technically walk on the
left side, but I don't really know,
how much people followed that though.
No, and I was trying to listen because, like, obviously, like we're not from there, so like if we miss the first arrow, we're just walking wherever because we don't know. Mm-hmm. But like I was listening at some point when I was traveling by myself, and like some of the locals, I'm assuming they're locals because they had like a London accent. They were just walking wherever, so I don't know how strictly they follow, but I know like escalators, especially in the train stations, like they do like escalators, it's like normal for them to like walk up and down them.
Mm-hmm. So you stay on one side while the other side's someone
tapped me. I had no idea that this is before I knew. Someone like tapped me and told me to move over.
It's like oops, sorry, mind the gap. No, before I know we have so much. I mean, this is literally day one, and we're gonna more so go to like highlights of this trip. But I think before we kind of get to everything else that we experienced while we were in London for a week, practically a week, I have to tell everybody really quickly about OWYN, which stands for Only What You Need. If you're looking for a protein supplement if you're looking for something, after workouts or just looking to get a nice protein in your diet, OWYN is going to be a nice choice for you guys. And they have plenty of great flavors, and if you're looking for protein that maybe you need that 32 grams, they have that in the elite type of protein. Then they have other ones with 20 grams and even some that have a little bit of protein and also caffeine in them. So it's a really good supplement, 100% vegan. So for me, I know like some of the dairy proteins just don't mix well if that can definitely be an alternative. And I know you like it. We had the big tub of the cookies and cream flavor. They have no nut buttercup and chocolate, vanilla, all the great flavors that you could possibly want. So if you're looking to try a new supplement, really highly recommend Owen, and you can use the promo code COUPLEGOALS to save 15% off your first purchase. So stock up the cart, use the promo code COUPLEGOALS, and save 15% off.
Thanks, Owen.
And then really quickly before we continue here, just want to shout out SeatGeek as well. And look, we have Bulls basketball coming back, hockey's coming back, obviously football's going on, but if you're looking to go to concerts, comedy shows, things like that, SeatGeek is going to be a great way to, one, find good seats, but also find it at an affordable price. And if you, again, are looking for something for date night, SeatGeek's going to be a great way to kind of explore all those options. You can use the promo code COUPLESCOVERAGE to save $20 off your first purchase. So use SeatGeek, use COUPLESCOVERAGE, the promo code, save $20 off your first purchase.
Thanks, SeatGeek.
There you go, SeatGeek. Owen, and now let's get back to our London trip. Where are we going next?
All right. So prior to us going on this trip, I guess we didn't really know how intense your work schedule would be. Brady just came out from under the couch.
Out from under the couples coverage couch.
Hi, puppies.
But yes.
And sorry, I'm like distracted by him because he's on my charger. So we didn't realize how intense your work schedule was going to be, and it ended up being a lot of sightseeing and exploring on my own, which completely fine. I didn't know it was going to be that way, but it was fine.
Same here, and I knew I'd be working the days that we would be there, but basically what made this such a long, I guess, process was that where our hotel was compared to where the Bears practice was being held, it was about an hour and a half there, and then obviously an hour and a half back. So it did take up a lot of time, because at the most we were there for 45 minutes, 40 minutes, not even that sometimes, some of the days. So it did end up being a longer, they called it journey, right? Don't they say journey over there for whatever reason? I'm pretty sure that was something that they said. It ended up being a longer journey there and back. So yeah, that gave you a lot of time to kind of just explore. And I wanted you to do that too. I didn't want you to just be cooped up in the hotel or even stay locally. And I'm glad that you took advantage and you got to see a lot of stuff.
I went everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm not really big, especially here, like in Chicago. Like maybe, you know what? Now I kind of want to go explore Chicago like a tourist, because I think maybe I'd be able to get around. Because over there, I was like, there's no way I'm going to stay in the hotel when there's so much. And London is big. There's a lot to see. So an app I really, really recommend that your uncle actually told us to get before we left is one called City Mapper. And it's literally, it's so good. It tells you like how to get from one place to another. And it gives you all the different options of how you can get there, how long each option would take to get there. If you decide to walk, it literally gives you like step by step on like what to do, where to turn. It shows you how close you're getting. It's kind of like, I would say like a better Maps, because Maps
Google
is
Maps,
not that detailed. But anyways, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go, and I literally like took the train by myself. I literally became like a little train expert, and I was kind of scared when I got on my first train, because I was like, all right, I'm leaving. Leaving.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was actually really, really fun. Actually, the first day I wasn't even by myself. The first day I explored, I took like a big tour of London with Krista.
The hop on, hop off bus, right?
Yeah, we did a hop on, hop off bus, which I think helped me later on when I was doing my solo exploring, because then I kind of remembered all the places that we saw, and like I think it kind of helped to do that on day one. And if you're ever in London, I really do recommend that.
The hop
on, hop off tour, because you can go explore different areas as long as you want, and then just hop back on a bus. And they pass so often that like,
and they're pretty labeled. I mean, they're labeled pretty clearly.
Everything
like
is labeled
super
clearly.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Like finding a train station is super easy. Finding I don't know, like the directions over there were just so like easy to read. I think it like really helped with like, I don't know, not being confused or anything. People are super nice also, so if you have questions, like people are always going to help you. But yeah, so the first day we did that, and it was kind of funny because like I would see you in the mornings and then we would just meet up at night for whatever thing was planned that night.
And there were different, like through our company, we had events scheduled at the night through the travel partner that we were using. So yeah, in the mornings we'd see each other. I don't even know if we got breakfast one of the days at the hotel because the other times we never made it, but saw each other. I did my thing, you did your thing, and then met up later at the night.
Yeah, and it was kind of funny because like I kind of for a second forgot we're there for a Bears thing because here I am like exploring and sightseeing and doing all these like cool things. And I like kind of forget that. I'm like, okay, we're here for like a cool Bears thing at the end of the week. And I think I started to feel it more once we started to see more and more people that had like gotten this package to like come out and like do all the different activities. Yeah. Once they started getting there, I'm like, oh, this is cool that people are here for you guys and like here for this whole experience.
And I think the first time we kind of felt that, both you and I, was like that night cruise.
Yeah, the night cruise.
And it was kind of like that was the one maybe difficult part of like trying to find exactly where it was at because we went in a couple of different locations near like the pier. And we obviously eventually found our way because we saw a bunch of Bears fans ready to get on this cruise that I think it went up and down, if I'm not mistaken, and apparently a couple times. But I didn't even honestly notice that. But you could see like different landmarks like Big Ben, the London Bridge, just cool things. But on this cruise that we were on, and we were inside, outside, you could be wherever you wanted. We had a couple of drinks, we had food, there was a little dance floor, and there was a bunch of people that there were actually some people that had no idea who we were for like the Bears podcast, but then there was a bunch of people that did know us and wanted to be a part of that, and it was really cool to see like different parts of London, but also get to interact with everybody that was on the boat. Yeah,
no, that was really cool to see, because I don't know, like I feel like to me it just says a lot that people are willing to make that like long trip. Obviously it's an experience for them too, but to hear it and be able to see people like stop you and tell you they've been listening for this long, or even like say congratulations to us. I'm like, oh, these people like really know and like follow what you do. And I thought it was so cool to be able to like hear it and talk to people in person. I just thought it was really cool.
It was really cool, and shout out to my guy Johnny who does listen to Couples Coverage, and also
someone said they listen to Couples Coverage. Podcast.
Yeah,
I was like, what?
So I think I don't know who it was that said it, but they care about like the personal lives too, and so like seeing just not only the growth in the podcast, but also for us like getting engaged, things like that. Like that's always cool to see and hear. So that was just one of the events that we had scheduled with like some of the people that put that in their things to do, because you didn't have to do that package. But yeah, I mean, that was a really cool start to interact with some of the Bears fans there. And we saw them all over, but that was just one of them.
Yeah. That was, I think, one of my favorite nights, too.
That was Wednesday night?
I have no idea. They're all kind of, like, blending in at this point.
Or Thursday night? I honestly don't even remember.
And then you kind of start to, like, recognize people, because obviously the ones who got this package are going to show up to all the events that were lined up. And so it was kind of cool to, like, see some of the, like, familiar faces.
Yeah.
Because even on, like, the cocktail... Was it the cocktail night?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Like the rooftop one?
And that was just at our hotel, the top floor, I believe. Mm-hmm. Floor 12.
Floor 12. That was another really fun night. Actually, I think that's where I lost my debit card.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a downer in the trip because one, it's just a major inconvenience because you have that card linked up to like automatic payments and like things like that, and then if you lose it, like that was also what you were using to kind of get through all the train state.
Well,
right?
It's connected to my Apple Pay, so like
it's a major inconvenience when you lost it. See that you lost.
That one was me. I lost that one, and thankfully, I got it back. It's just like almost. I feel like there's such a small percent of that.
Yeah, that was after the cocktail night.
Which,
so,
you know what?
Yeah.
It makes more sense now that it was found and someone returned it, because if it was there, obviously, like, I feel like it was such a good group of people that I don't picture anyone taking it, or, you know, like, I don't think that was even like an option there. And I think that's where I lost it. So if it was there, then
And then
it
it
makes
was
sense.
yeah, we went down to the lobby the next morning. And you described exactly what it was, like a little Disney card or whatever.
Don't call out my card.
Well, and then they're like,
you start saying my numbers.
Yeah, it was a number. Disney had Mickey Mouse on there. And
it doesn't, by the way, but okay.
Doesn't that Mickey?
No.
Who's it have on there?
It just has like Disney Castle.
Oh, Disney Castle. Well, they ended up bringing it down, and like, wow, that was
lucky.
It was very lucky, and hey, it worked out. Like the trip London vibes weren't going to be, brought down because of that, because your card ended up being found, like you said.
Yeah, honestly, it wouldn't have been the end of the world. It just, like you said, would have been an inconvenience.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Okay, so then the other thing that was really cool was the pep rally. And honestly, when we had these like events scheduled, I was like, what is a pep rally? Like, what is a pep rally? I think this was the night before the game.
This would have been the night before the game. Yep.
Saturday night. You're right. Oh,
yeah.
Wait, so I guess we should backtrack, because like I said, you only had one day to explore. One free day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was that Saturday.
So I became your little tour guide for the day, and I took you around everywhere.
Yeah, it was that Saturday morning. So we had nothing scheduled until the pep rally at night. So that Saturday morning, we wanted to get up early and just kind of explore, because I really had not gotten a chance to see much of anything.
No, literally.
Except for Bears practice, which it was a cool place, but I wanted to see stuff. And so what we did was we hopped on and hopped off that big bus, right?
Yeah, I was like, you know what? If you have one day, this is a cool way to see everything, because you really do see like almost everything. So yeah, took him back on the hop on, hop off, and yeah, got you around everywhere.
We actually ran into my uncle and brother,
which
on
is
that
like,
day.
What are the chances of that?
Okay, so I knew they were gonna be there. They were going to the Bears game, but I told them like, hey, Steffi and I were gonna kind of do our own thing, but they were also exploring too. And when we were near Big Ben, just kind of I was taking some pictures of you. And of course they turned out great. But like someone like grabs me from behind. I'm like, oh, what Bears fan is this? It's my uncle, and then my brother right there. And then you end up taking a really awesome picture of us too, with Big Ben in the background. So that was really cool that we, got a chance to randomly run into him as we're on this tour.
Yeah, I know. And it's like, the timing had to be perfect. Like, so many things had to line up perfectly for us to like run into them there, because we could have already been somewhere else on this tour, that I was taking you on.
Like we took some pictures before at like in front of Big Ben, and then we're like, oh, you showed me one that you wanted.
We were like, this is a better angle. Let's go over here.
Like all the things that had to go right for us to run into him there, right there. Like you're right. It was perfect timing.
Yeah. So that was really cool. What else? What stands out?
What is it? Buckingham Palace?
Yes,
is that where
Buckingham Palace. Isn't it insane to see it in person?
It is. It's like, like you see it in pictures, right? Or like even, isn't that where the Queen like waves off like the second balcony or whatever right there? But like seeing even like the gold that's like on the top of some of the fencing there, like the big statue that's in the middle of like that fountain, I believe. Yeah, it was insane to see. And then there were some guards actually just out there waiting. Yeah.
We didn't get to see the changing of the guard, but I think that's something that I would have liked to see, but like it was still so cool. We also like went past through like is it Westminster Abbey? Is that what it is? Can you fact check me? But this is like where the royal weddings happen. And it's just so interesting to like see these things in person after seeing them like on TV for so long.
You got him, babe.
How do you say it?
Westminster Abbey.
Oh, I was right.
Yeah, you got it.
Nice. So that was super cool.
I'm trying to think what else was on the tour as we're
also some of our friends were telling us all the people that are buried. Is it there too?
I believe so. Look it up.
Which is like also crazy to hear these names. I'm like, wait, so you're telling me they're there right now? They're buried in there? I wish I can say some off the top of my head, but I don't want to be wrong, so I'm just not going to say anything.
Yeah, that's, I mean, Elizabeth the First. We have, I mean, there's 47 columns here. Elizabeth II, Ben Johnson. I don't know. Just
I feel like there was like names that were like, what?
Oh, maybe I'm just not running into them, but
we can move on.
Yeah.
But the point is, if you look it up, there's like, I can't believe the people that are buried there.
Mm-hmm.
Where else did we go? We went to Notting Hill.
And Notting Hill is that what it's known for? Those buildings that we took pictures in
like
front of?
The colorful buildings.
Colorful building. It almost looks like you're maybe like a cartoon, because all these buildings, it's like a neighborhood.
Yeah,
it's a neighborhood where pink, yellow, purple, in like all those like the vibrant, the cute, not vibrant,
like pastel,
like
cute pastel colors. And we saw people like leaving that I think live there, right? And it must be so weird to live in a place that's so touristy and people are just always taking pictures in front of your house.
Yeah, no, that's gotta be weird. And I mean, you have to keep it up to par. Yeah,
because the streets are so clean. The walls of like the buildings look so clean. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was also like a ton of markets there that day. So we spent a lot of our time there because there was just so much to see and like stop.
And then we went to that one farm girl.
Yeah, farm girl. You were the only farm boy, farm girl.
Farm boy and the farm girl. But really good pancakes that were in there. And yeah, we stopped there to get food, but we also, that's, I think, what it was in Notting, that's the town, right? Notting Hill? Or yes. That's where we got some of our souvenirs that we kind of brought back, little things. But yeah, I mean, that took all, we probably hopped on and probably at around,
I think we were probably there for like 2-3ish hours. So that one took a big part just because it was like, I don't know, again, a lot of walking. So to get to one place to another sometimes takes you like 20 minutes and then you have to go back to like the bus stop. So it's just kind of a process, but
yeah, and also really quickly on like the bus, like they give you headphones, and so as you're passing by these landmarks and stuff, you're like hearing, I would say it's like an entertaining guide in terms of like what he's telling you, like why these places are important. What was it, Jack the Ripper? Or is that who we learned about? Like, this is the street where Jack the Ripper, you know? It's like, oh wow, okay.
Oh, it tells you like this is the street where like in Harry Potter, the bus squeezes between.
I didn't hear
like,
that one.
Double decker,
I didn't hear that one. No.
It's also like, did it talk about the Spider-Man one?
No. Did we get over there?
No, we did. Maybe we didn't, but I know like it did talk about like certain scenes in movies. This is where this was filmed.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Or like this is where this scene in the movie was. This is where like the guy who wrote Peter Pan lived. I don't know, just really cool facts. Yeah. So you're learning a lot along the way.
You definitely are, and so it got a little chilly as we got to the end there, but you know, listening to the headphones and you're like on the top where obviously there's no roof of the bus, but it did take up a good, I think we got there probably 10, and then that pep rally was starting at 6. We got to the pep rally though 7:30ish. So from that time that we got there, we were majority on the hop on hop off bus, and then we kind of changed a little bit, went to the pep rally. And
how'd I do
in terms of changing and being ready quickly? I mean,
in terms of like giving you a tour around.
You did a great job being a tour guide. I trusted you too. Like you're the one who like knows where we're going. And then we had to, did we get on a train back?
Yeah,
we did.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of funny because it's like most times that we travel, my brain just like shuts off and like you just, like drag me around.
We gotta go this way. Come on.
You just pull me wherever we need to go.
No, but
I just follow you. But
that time you were the one really, you took us where we needed to go, and we got to every single point and made our way back.
Yeah.
And then we do get to the pep rally, and it's this really cool spot where it's not like a cave.
Yeah, it did feel like a cave.
Feel like it was underground, and there's a bar, and there's like sections for tables, and they have these high tables where people are just like mingling, hanging around and hanging out, getting drinks. There's food being passed around too.
Can I just quickly mention? So a lot of the people that were there, to like hang out with you guys and see you guys and like meet other people. I thought it was so cool that a lot of them were hanging out as if they've known each other.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But a lot of them were meeting for the first time. Yeah. And it's people who listened to your show that just like made good friends while they were there.
Yeah, that was really cool to see because, like you said earlier, we saw the same people at each of these events, and then we also saw those same people hanging out with the same group of people at these events, thinking like, oh, they must know each other. No, they're literally meeting, other Bears fans at these events, and
because a lot of them traveled by themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
it was really cool to see that community kind of just develop over the week as we were there in London in a completely different environment than what we're used to. And yeah, like that was a cool scene, the pep rally, and just getting a couple drinks, hanging out and having a good time.
That was a fun night. I really liked that night. That was a really cool spot too.
Yeah.
It's like, I wish we would have had more time to go into all of these cool little like local places. Like I saw so many that were like stairs, and you go down to like a cool wine bar or like a cool pub, and we had a lot of time to see things from the outside and not so much from like the inside. Mm-hmm. But this one kind of felt like that, like this cool like underground kind of like a low-key spot, but who knows, it's probably super popular. It felt low-key. Like
no, it was definitely cool. What else? I mean, those are the big like events, and then obviously
the game,
like the final, the what a lot of people went on this trip for was what happened last, but the Bears end up playing a football game in London, and we get on this big bus to get down there. It's about like an hour, I want to say like an hour drive if I'm not mistaken, but before we obviously go to the game, we get there early to tailgate, and we're tailgating like it's like at a school, I guess, some kind of school, but we had like a large floor blocked off for, people who are a part of this tailgate, and on the rooftop there's bags that you can play. They did have ping pong tables, but I tried, getting paddles, but you couldn't get them. But a bunch of Bears fans, we ended up playing bags with, a couple also from Arlington Heights, and like it was a crazy coincidence, but there was just a lot of cool people there.
Wait, I want to get into that a tiny bit because like you said, we were playing bags with a couple who was there, who were part of like they were in the package. Mm-hmm. So, we were playing with them. They just so happened to live in Arlington Heights. And then we got to talking, and they also happened to used to live in the same city that we're going to get married in.
Like, what are the chances
of that? And it felt really reassuring because they said that they love, obviously we're not from the area we're going to get married in. And we've said it on here. It's going to be in Wilmington, North Carolina. So it was really reassuring to hear from them. Like, we love it there. We have like a little, I think they said they have a little like art, like framed from Wilmington. I think it's like the little beach or like a little bridge from over there that they have hung up in their house. And they were just talking about how much they loved it. So, that was like super reassuring. And I'm like, it's so weird. Like, what are the chances of that?
Out of all the people we could have played bags with, like that's who we ended up playing bags with. So it was really cool, to have that. And, obviously you got some food like that night too, or that day. I obviously had to work, but I wanted nothing to do with that, having any drinks. Because I think of the night before we had a good amount. So, had some good food, hanging out with people. And then, we're there for what? Probably 2-ish hours or something like that. But on the way there, I thought it was pretty cool too, because we left the tailgate for a brief second to try to go to this NFL fan shop to, possibly get a bag or whatever. But as we're kind of walking down, you just see all the different fan bases that people in the UK are representing because, that's just their team. And there's some people that chose them because of the colors or, a lot of Bears fans there are Bears fans because of, Michael Jordan or the 1985 Bears. So it was just really cool to see every fan base represented, even though it was just the Bears and Jaguars that were playing. No, you saw all 32 teams literally in that crowd of people as we were walking by. So I thought that was really cool.
I didn't really notice that.
Yeah, I bet and it was cool. There's this feature that the London website's doing where you can find yourself in the stadium. If we were to go and look through that, you'll find every single jersey in that stadium, but you're majority going to see a lot of Bears fans.
I felt like it. I guess I didn't really notice that because I thought it was just full of Bears fans.
It was. I mean,
it was though. But.
Based off the game, this was your second Bears game.
Yeah.
I mean, what was that experience like?
It was awesome. I feel so lucky to have gone to that game because I think, honestly, I didn't really have super high expectations. I was like, this is cool that we're here and I get to see a game in London, but I didn't expect it to go the way that it did. It was such a fun game. They won. The energy was awesome. The stadium was cool. Yeah. I was there with your brother and your uncle because they were there they were there for the game, which is why we ran into them earlier. But, and yeah, I just thought it was so cool to be able to see in person. I don't know if I'm ever going to see a better game than that.
I don't know. That'd be a tough one.
Knock on wood. But I know they're going to probably have, I know they're going to have great games again, but me personally being there for such a cool game and in London,
I'll say this, I've covered a lot of football games, a lot of Bears games. That was the most electric game I have ever been to for a Bears, victory, but also in terms of the crowd being in it, what they did on the football field, but the crowd was amazing. When Mr. Brightside came on, for example, everybody in the stadium was singing Mr. Brightside or Sweet Caroline. Everybody was singing. There were some reporters that were just videotaping it. I'm pretty sure I have that on my phone.
Maybe
too.
You had a better you were probably in a better section than I was because I didn't feel that much.
Really?
No, in our section, I feel like people were singing along, but I know, for example, if this was a Super Bowl game, I just know everyone would feel it. But our section, even after the touchdowns were going on, I don't think people were cheering as hard as they were for the first one.
I wonder too, because there definitely, it seemed like visually there was a lot. I mean, obviously there were a lot of Bears fans everywhere, but definitely on the 100 level where the press box was at for me,
everyone was
it was all Bears fans. And maybe they were sprinkled in a couple of Jaguars fans.
You know what? We were up in the high seats, so I don't think people up there, maybe they were just oh, well, we'll just go.
Go to an NFL game. Yeah. It was I mean, again, for what I have seen and covered, that was something else. So it was really cool to see. They're talking about maybe the Bears going, let's say, Spain. We're going to take that trip or what?
Oh, yeah.
That or, they've been talking about maybe Australia will get a game eventually. Any of those, give me an excuse to go.
That was really, really cool, though.
Yeah.
Honestly, the highlight probably of the entire trip. That was so cool. It kind of sucked because I would love to be able to go to a game like that with you and have you with me. Mm-hmm. Which just, I don't know if that, maybe one day, some of the guys were able to sit with their
maybe one day
with their wives, but
wives. Yeah, no, I mean, I think that would be really cool. But it was funny because I remember earlier in the week, it was like you were saying, oh yeah, there's a Bears game. Well. And then when the Bears game happened, it's there was a Bears game, and that was arguably the best part of the entire trip.
But again, I don't think I didn't have the expectation for it to go that well. Mm-hmm. I don't know if anyone really did.
No, not that well. But
I know there are fans that are going to be loyal regardless, and they are going to enjoy it even if they didn't have a good game. I don't know. But the point is, like, it was just like a perfect way to end the trip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. By the time, that game ends, you guys get back first. I have to, like, get some interviews, things like that, and then get back. We have to start packing.
Yeah, we have to start. I literally packed because I ended up taking the bus back with everyone, and you just had to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just like packed up because we were supposed to leave the next morning, and like literally our room was a disaster. I don't know what it is about being on a trip, but like we need to get better about that because our rooms when we travel are like, who are we? Why is it like this?
I think what we need to do from now on is like, okay, we're here. I know it's been maybe if it's a longer flight or we're tired, we just got to unpack and do it in a nice way where like, okay, we utilize, but to be fair, there wasn't a lot of like cabinet space or whatever.
But also I'm just not the type to like really hang up my stuff. Like if there's like a dress or something that I don't want to like sit in my suitcase or get extra wrinkled, then I will hang those up. But for the most part on a trip, I'm just living out of my suitcase. Like I'm not trying to put things away. I never put things in drawers. I don't put things in the closet. Like,
I will do that.
Yeah, you do that.
I do that. Maybe that's why I've lost some things also too. But like, I don't know. We do have to figure it out because thankful for you. Like I mean, everything was organized. I just had to put stuff in like the suitcase, and we were out of there we had to be out. Well, we could have been out of the hotel a little earlier than when we left, but it was a early flight.
8 a.m.
8 a.m. But we also, you have to be there a little earlier because of customs and everything. We had to get...
And we were like an hour away from the airport.
Yeah, the Uber.
It was a very early morning.
Yeah, early morning. A little bit stressful because I'm like, oh man, time. And yeah, it was... It all ended up working out though.
It ended up working out real good, but we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Ended up working out. Like we get on our flight, and I will say the flight back felt a lot longer than the flight there, for me at least.
I can't remember the flight back, honestly. I really don't. It's like a blur to me at this point. I couldn't tell you.
I watched a bunch of movies and TV shows though, like a bunch of stuff. But it just felt like it took forever.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's usually how it goes on the way back. The way back, anywhere always feels longer because you're just like, okay, I'm just going home. The way there is like, woo!
Yeah, you're super excited, ready to go. But it was an awesome trip. I'm super thankful that you got to tag along with me and, get to, hang out with some of my coworkers, but also just, experience London.
Experience
so
London.
that was a really cool trip, and
I feel like I know so many parts of it now. Like I really genuinely feel like it's huge, but I do know I have like a general like understanding of where everything is. I don't know. I feel pretty good. Like if we were to go back, I'd know exactly what to do, where to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I would trust you to take me to wherever we need to go see.
I got you when we're in London.
Yeah.
Only there because
I did feel okay. I will say I did feel really accomplished coming back from the stadium because I traveled by myself. So I used I was using City Mapper. Mm-hmm. So I was using that. I'm walking. And it's funny because as I'm like walking like down these streets, like the Bears buses are going by, and like these fans, like they're crazy over there. They're like banging on the glass, like let's go Bears, let's go Bears. And I remember one of the players like, whoa, like you can't, that would never happen in Chicago. Like it just wouldn't, but they're like banging on there. So then I'm following my route, going and following like this huge crowd, get on the train, know exactly what to stop and get off. I'm like, that was easy. Like I did get lost using my own method earlier in the week, but that last time I got it right and I felt good about it.
Yeah, good job.
We did it.
We did it.
We had a good time in London.
Lots of good memories.
And
oh,
what happened?
No, I was just gonna say for my own plot in life. For my own plot in life, I wanted to try on dresses.
Oh.
Which I didn't end up doing, which that would have been really cool, but that's fine.
Looks like we have to go back to Europe or London, whatever.
Yeah.
Go travel again.
We have time.
Definitely have time. But we don't have any more time because I think this is going to be the end of this episode of Couples Coverage. And we appreciate everyone who's listened, for everybody who's listened in the past. And, of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel at Couples Coverage. Also, if you're just someone who likes listening to the podcast, a lot of people like the audio. You can also listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere that you listen to your podcast. So go subscribe, download. It would definitely help us out. And then also, if you want to follow us on our social media platforms, we are on TikTok and Instagram. So go check that out as well. But that's going to do it for episode 38.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll be back next week with another episode. Keep it more on pace of what we want to do. I don't think there's going to be any unexpected.
It's going to be a
happening.
Halloween episode.
Yes, Halloween episode. Perfect. So
I'm excited.
we have that to look forward to. But thanks again for everyone for listening. But we'll be back next week. Until then, adios.
Bye.